All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the official confirmation of the July Nintendo Direct that a lot of people did not think would be happening, but on the very last day of the month, it is indeed taking place. However, this is confirmation now officially from Nintendo that it is a partner showcase, aka this is a third-party focused direct. So that is very interesting because one of the leaks that had to do with a lot of the games that would be there had some first-party stuff, and I don't think that Nintendo will be revealing Animal Crossing at a partner showcase. So I'm going to cover the official announcement first. We're diving right into that. Join us for a Nintendo Direct partner showcase tomorrow, July 31st at 6 a.m. Pacific time. Tune in for roughly 25 minutes of information on upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch games from our publishing partners. So you'll notice a couple things, a little bit shorter than a mainline direct. Those typically go 35 to 40 minutes, even upwards of 45. This is slated for 25, but Nintendo will probably go over just a little bit. I'm expecting the 27, 28 minute range in total. And then whenever it comes to the first party predictions, all the different stuff we probably would have covered, even the beat 'em ups leak that did actually have a list of games, it's now all called into question because two of the games that were in that leaked list were Metroid Prime 4 release date, which presumably will not be here, and the one more thing being an Animal Crossing 2026 announcement teaser. Now, what is interesting is that the timing of the direct is accurate according to that leak, and it is happening in July. So there's maybe some reason to expect some of these other leaked games to potentially show up. So just for fun, we will mention the beat 'em ups leak, which, you know, this was one of the first ones that got going early in the month. In fact, I think it may have been very beginning of July range whenever this started making the rounds, but a few different games, Metaphor, ReFantazio. Of course, this is one that does make a lot of sense. You look at Sega and Atlas games for Nintendo and just kind of their support level. I think the only reason this wasn't there up to this point in time was due to the power level of the Switch. So this would come to Switch 2 and make a lot of sense. GameCube Shadow Drop of Pokemon Coliseum, I'm discounting that one and not thinking that it's going to be here because, again, while it's not exactly tied to first party, and you know, Pokemon Company, like they're kind of second party and or first party. But anyway, I don't know that the GameCube updates from anything from Nintendo like Pokemon Coliseum, like what they've advertised so far, would actually be here. Death Stranding Director's Cut S, that actually is in the realm of possibility of potentially being announced at this presentation. The Witcher 3 Nintendo Switch 2 edition. This is another one that could be there because it's of course a partner game, and it would make some sense for Nintendo to go ahead and reveal a Witcher 3 Switch 2 edition, but it's kind of one of those left field games. Again, this whole list is that much more unlikely now that, yes, we do have the direct confirmation, but it's not a mainline direct like this leaked list of games would have suggested. And we did actually talk about a prior rumor as well, where Nate the Hate, one of the most reliable names suggesting that this would be coming, actually stated that I don't think every third-party game in waiting will make an appearance at the direct, but the show should have a heavy focus on third-party. So obviously, a lot of the backroom chatter and stuff like that was turning into third-party focus, and it sounds like we're going to get a lot of those missing games that people just wondered, you know, what is going on in terms of all these games that got announced over the summertime and other ones that you would just expect to see Nintendo have in the works or have for their own platform, and it's just missing a Switch 2 logo. This is the kind of stuff that we should actually expect to see there. And one of the biggest companies that has been in the rumor mill speculation talk lately for a lot of content coming out to Switch 2. We covered it. Chris Dring over at the Games Business citing that a lot of different Xbox ports are scheduled to be announced soon within the coming weeks to other platforms. I think this is where they show up. Clearly, we had the Sea of Thieves official account tweeting out "Oh Banana" as a direct tease to Nintendo's Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I think it's very clear that Sea of Thieves will indeed be here. We had prior leaks and rumors suggesting Hi-Fi Rush in terms of a game that would make it over. In fact, there was data with one of the shirts that was in the game that it seemed like there was an Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo themed shirt, and that game never made it over. Maybe it's time for it. I think Microsoft is going to throw some big announcements left curve, like out of left field. Maybe something like Halo Master Chief Collection that's been rumored for a while. I do think that a reveal of some kind of multi-platform Halo support at a Nintendo event makes a lot of sense, and maybe Microsoft would go for the kill with that one. Forza Horizon 5 would be in the conversation. Ninja Gaiden 4, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 or 7 at this point. Who knows when that train will get kicked off, but we do know there's a 10-year legal binding agreement between Activision Blizzard and Nintendo for the Call of Duty franchise. Hellblade 2, Oblivion Remastered. Xbox has really a whole host of games that could come over. They also recently revealed that at their event in Gamescom that there will be a Hollow Knight Silksong demo playable. So that is, of course, big news in and of itself, because that is happening in August. And we do know that this game is targeting a holiday 2025 release. It's also possible that we learn of the exact release date at said presentation for Hollow Knight Silksong. And with how long and how much eyes have been on this game over the years, it could even be one of the bigger announcements in this showcase. Of course, Elden Ring is one of the big third-party releases for Nintendo Switch 2, and it has a year, but not a release date right now. And I would expect Elden Ring to get an official release date at this presentation as well. In addition to hopefully some out of left field Bandai stuff that we haven't heard of yet. Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero has an official rating for the Nintendo Switch 2, but with no official version announced. Me personally, as a Souls fan, would love to see support for the rest of the missing games. So a Dark Souls trilogy coming over where they get 2 and 3 in the mix, and also bump up the frame rate of Dark Souls Remastered, because even with backwards compatibility, the game still runs at 30 FPS. Maybe even Night Rain, the Elden Ring Night Rain being in that conversation. Like, there is a lot of exciting third-party stuff that could be there. Assassin's Creed Shadows also has a rating out there for a Switch 2 version, and we do not have a version announced yet. Then you have a Sega and Atlas leaker that had essentially high reliability in the leaking department for Sega and Atlas games specifically. They recently just put out that Persona 3 Reload would be something that would be coming to Nintendo Switch 2. So lots of third-party smoke around this Nintendo Direct that is now confirmed to be a partner showcase. And to quickly tackle the conversation on what this means for first-party announcements from here, I would just assume that this is going to now hold us over until the month of September, when Nintendo traditionally holds their mainline Directs, and that they will have essentially a full mainline showcase then. The interesting thing is do we now learn about games like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and other ones in that regard? Do we learn about those as a separate one-off announcement in terms of their release date? Because if we're waiting till September for the next mainline Direct, at this point now, you have to question if Metroid Prime 4 is either a late November game, or if they would actually just announce the date standalone on something like the Nintendo Today app. And I do actually believe that from a first-party perspective, a lot of the updates for their first-party games will probably come standalone if they need to come any earlier than something like a September Nintendo Direct. So lots of third-party stuff to be excited for as Nintendo fans. Tomorrow, I will be live streaming this event, so make sure you come by the channel and say hey and watch it with me and live react if you would like to. Also, obviously, this isn't going to be the presentation that everybody wanted, because we're not getting a ton of first-party new reveals, and I think that those are just unfortunately going to be saved for the September presentation, which, if you asked me before this, I would have said if this was a mainline Direct, we probably maybe would have gotten a September Mario focused presentation. Now I wonder if any kind of Mario 40th anniversary celebration would just be essentially wrapped in with a mainline Nintendo Direct, and Mario will more or less have a section in that Direct, and it will be all of the other updates, because Kirby Air Riders 2, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, and others all need release dates and more details from Nintendo. So still plenty of first party stuff to come, but tomorrow is the third party presentation. So let me know what you think in the comments down below about the official confirmation for a Nintendo Direct, and what you are most hoping to see at this showcase from a third party presence, now that we know that that is the structure of this Nintendo Direct. And Let me know where you're at in terms of hype level overall, in terms of partner showcase versus it being a traditional mainline direct. And do you think we're getting the next mainline direct in September at this point? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.